We believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Season 4 of the Diversey BW Hotelier GM show. We are well into the 6th week. This is the second show of day 1, which is a Thursday. And I have a great set of general managers and a brilliant discussion that's going to get underway. You know, this season comes at a defining moment for Indian hospitality. And our Season 4 theme reflects the shift. India at the hospitality inflection point, redefining excellence across every stage segment. India today is not one market. It is many markets within one country. After all, they say India is a subcontinent. It's a continent, not even a subcontinent. And we speak different languages. We have different cultures. We have different weathers. And the flying time from one end to the other is 4 hours if you were to do north to south. And east to west is about 3 hours. It's a huge country, multifaceted country, multicultural country with all the faiths and all the languages and all the food cultures to talk about. From the hills of Shimla to resort destinations like Saputara, from metro cities like Chennai and Hyderabad to the fast evolving business hubs like Pune and Trivandrum, each market brings its own realities and peculiarities, which brings us to today's episode, which is themed Brand Promise versus Local Reality, Managing Consistency Across India. Every hotel brand makes a promise of service, of experience, of quality, and of consistency. And they all put their best foot forward. Yes, there is commerce as an angle, but the real fun is in putting your best foot forward and giving the guest an experience of their lifetime. But delivering that promise across diverse geographies, talent pools, guest profiles, and operational environments is where the real challenge lies. Let's hear from our distinguished set of general managers on how they balance brand standards with local realities. But before we get discussing, let me bring in and introduce these stars on the show today. The first one off the blocks is a second timer at the GM show, Ankit Manocha, who's the general manager of the ITC Welcomhotel Shimla. Welcome to the show, Ankit.
Good evening, Mr. Khanna. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me once again on the show, and I'm really looking forward for some interesting conversations today.
So are we, and thank you for being there. And I'm very jealous of the hotel that I see behind you and the environment and the weather. My God, you sit in heaven, do you?
I do. Thank you.
Thank you. Next in is Poonam Nair, who's the general manager of the Radisson Resort, Hatgad, Saputara, right on the border between Maharashtra and Gujarat. Welcome to the show, Poonam.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Thank you for having me. My first time on the show. However, I have been an active follower of the show. Thank you to you and your team for putting up such great discussions and bringing leaders together to share insights. So looking forward to a great conversation. Thank you.
We keep trying. Thank you for being there, Poonam. Thank you. Next in is somebody who's here on the platform for the second time, Vinodh Ramamurthy, who's the general manager of the Pullman Chennai and Salai. Welcome to the show, Vinodh.
Thank you, Bhuvanesh. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me here again. It's such a great platform, and I'm so glad that I'm here to share some insights.
Thank you, Vinodh. Such a pleasure having you back here.
Thank you.
Sukhbir again, a second timer on the platform. He's the general manager of the Novotel Hyderabad Airport. Welcome to the show, Sukhbir.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. We had a wonderful conversation last time around. I'm looking forward to the conversation this time. It's always a pleasure to be on the show.
Thank you for your time and thank you for gracing the platform, Sukhbir.
You're welcome.
Santanu Sarkar is there in next. He's the general manager of the Crowne Plaza, Pune City Center. First timer.
Good evening, Mr. Khanna and all the panelists. It's my privilege to be part of the show. Looking forward for a great conversation.
Thank you, Shantanu. Shantanu, you'll have to pull yourself up a little. You're bottom of the screen. Yeah. Thank you so much. Last but not the least, Bharathi Perumal. He's the general manager of the Hilton Garden Inn in Trivandrum, right to the bottom of India. Welcome to the show, Bharathi, your first show with us.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Good evening, everyone. And I'm so happy and honored to be a part of this wonderful show. Of course, as exactly Poonam mentioned, we are one of the craziest followers of BW Hotelier shows every year, and it's an honor to be a part over here as in the show, and we really look forward for the fruitful discussion.
Ask me, you guys are the stars and the honor is ours. Thank you for gracing the platform and making it what it is. Without you, we'd be nothing. Thank you so much for your kind words. I've set the context for the show. Let's get rolling with the first question, if I may, Ankit.
Yes, Mr. Khanna.
All right. Tell me, Ankit, like I said, you're sitting in the heavens, right? In a destination like Shimla, where seasonality and terrain play a big role, how do you maintain brand consistency while adapting to local realities? Shimla, like any other hill station across India, be it the north, east, or the south, have their own peculiarities. I'd like to pick your brains on this.
Well, firstly, thank you once again for this question. My thought process about managing the brand consistency and local realities is all about controlled flexibility. Okay. What must not change is the thought process of the guest for choosing a particular brand. And that's what we definitely stand for. Following the core values of the organization and of the brand, which in case of IDC hotels is primarily the warmth, the being indigenous, sustainable, empathy, and responsible luxury. Those parameters, those core values cannot change. The guest should feel that irrespective of the terrain, irrespective of the location that the person has chosen, the feeling should remain the same. Some things are absolutely non-negotiable, which is the service quality, recognition, personalization. These things cannot change. However, in Shimla and in other hill stations as such, we face a lot of challenges. To start with is seasonality. Now, we in hills have peak seasons and completely lean seasons. The thought process changes. In peak seasons, the focus is more on business to enhance revenues as well as customer satisfactions. However, in lean season, it slightly changes towards cost efficiency. Now, to manage these two seasons and round the year, what is extremely important for us, and we follow this very rigorously, is controlled staffing or keeping an extremely flexible manpower. Now, to give an example, we have already started working on our season and the staffing. So, one of our sister property, which is yet to open, we've already got almost 15 additional resources who would be coming in and joining us in the month of April and will be with us for the next 3 months. After that, when our lean season will start, they'll go back. So what happens is that you're not keeping those 15 people all throughout the year. You save on your cost, and at the same time, you manage your Q1 as well, which is the season for hills. The second challenge that we face is on logistics. There are challenges with roads, with weather conditions, with the vendor availability. And the way it has been managed is primarily on, keeping higher inventories with us, having some excellent relations with the vendors, and at the same time doing local sourcing. We focus a lot on encouraging our guests to have Himachali cuisine, and at the same time not, reducing or not compromising on other food menu items. Adapting service delivery is also becomes a challenge sometimes, and the way it has been managed is having a proactive communication with our guest. Examples could be, during adverse weather conditions, a proactive call to the guest explaining about the weather is always appreciated. A delay in order is always appreciated if there is a proactive approach. And the second most important point is having, empowerment given to the team members, which is extremely important to take decisions. And people just not just follow SOPs, but at the same time take decisions while at the shop floor. Maintaining brand standards is my last point, where the focus on the training is given not just on the checklist, but it is on the intent to serve. It is on the work ethics and discipline. Okay, even the audits with the seniors do happen with guest experiences and not just by tick box compliances. At the end, I would just like to mention that consistency is not about doing everything all the time. It's about doing the right thing exceptionally well every time.
Thank you, Ankit. I agree with you, but interesting to know that you have a decent contingent of staff coming in the season and going away in the off season. Very interesting.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Poonam, you're in a location which I have not been to, have not seen. In fact, it's not even been on my radar, but now it is. So tell me, Saputara is an emerging resort destination. I'd like to hear more about that. How do you build and maintain brand standards in a market that is still evolving? Poonam, you're muted. Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Khanna, for the question. So as a part of Radisson Hotel Group, the foundation is very clear. As also cited by Ankit, our brand standard, is non-negotiable. It is something which is the brand identity. It is what we are. For a guest, he as soon as he books a Radisson Hotels, he knows what is he walking into or what kind of service standard can he expect. So from that point of view, certain core elements like the guest experience, the safety standards, the service delivery, this is something which has to be as per the brand standards, irrespective of the location. Having said this, in a developing market, flexibility is equally important. So I would say building and maintaining brand standard is in an evolving market is a fine balance between consistency and adaptability. Also understanding, and very interestingly, today's traveler, is very is very evolved. He understands when he is walking into X brand of X city or region, what can he expect. So it becomes very important, irrespective of the location, that we meet those service parameters. Also, if I can just tell, the brand standards, if I divide them into the hardware and the software of the hotel, so certain things like the size of the hotel, the quality of bedding, the specifications for the bath fittings. So these are the framework which is defined by the brand, which has to be a certain way. However, the service delivery could be a little more curated as per the region. As rightly mentioned by you in the introduction, that India is such a diverse country with varied cultures and so many regional nuances. A traveler is expecting, whenever he travels to a new destination, that he gets to experience the cultural heritage of that particular region or place. So it's important that being a part of such upcoming newer destinations, that we amalgamate the brand standards, giving the experiential experience or the journey to the traveler, because that's what he's expecting. Besides comfort and luxury, it's the experience that is going to make a difference to him. So brand standard definitely has to be constantly audited and has to be met, but localization is the essence for the traveler, because that is what he's coming for, to experience that particular destination.
I completely agree with you. Brand standards, if there were no brands, right, their standards would not be there. The very fact that there are brands and they are followed by their guests, to spend good time and money, is because they expect the brand to live up to the standards that the guest expects, right? And I think we are beholders of those standards and safekeepers, and we must live up to the expectations of a guest. Thank you so much, Poonam. That's very valuable response. You've been in diverse markets and also between brands, from Agra to Jaipur to now Chennai. Chennai is a very mature and highly competitive hospitality market, not that the others are not. How does consistency play a role? Does it become easier or harder in such markets?
So, Mr. Khanna, I'm going to answer this in a couple of parts, right? We're the newest hotel. Like you rightly mentioned, this is such a mature market.
Yes.
There were hotels which is opened in 70s. There were hotels that opened in 80s. There were hotels that opened even as late as 2010. But we are a young brand. We're the newest flagship accor brand in south of India, right? There's one Pullman at the Aerocity, and we're the second hotel. Almost after a decade, this hotel has opened up, right? So for us, the first question comes in from a lot of guests saying, what are you? Who are you? Are you a full service? Are you a focus service? Are you luxury? What are you? So for us, the biggest opportunity here is to take that brand awareness out. And when we talk about service benchmarks, it's also about brand differentiation, right? A lot of guests don't understand what you get in a full service hotel and what you get in a lifestyle hotel versus what luxury is. I think the first opportunity that lies with us is to make the guest aware of what your brand ethos are and brand standards are. Like I've had guests who, in some markets, I've had guests who come up to me saying, oh, but we came in from this palace hotel. We were welcome with flowers being showered on us. There was welcome drink. There was cold towels. There was somebody who was escorting and doing all kind of rituals. And I'm like, okay, great. But that's a luxury hotel and that's a palatial hotel, right? But it doesn't happen in a city hotel right in the middle of the city where the commercial business hub is. So it's all about also educating the guests on different types of brands that exist and what are the different tiers of hotels that exist as well. So because the consistency is perceived to be an experience which they have seen in some other place, and it's not necessarily that that particular consistency will be available through the spectrum of the brands that is available, right? What is available in a luxury cannot be probably replicated in an upscale hotel. So the first opportunity that a hotel has is to educate the guest on the service brand standards and also the brand differentiation. Once that comes in, then you compete with that particular tier level of hotels in your city or across the country, because today the travelers are well traveled. I mean, the guests are well traveled, right? So yes, the guest expects a certain level of basic service, which is what most of the brands binds in as a brand standard. Now, is it easier to deliver? Yes, it comes in with a lot of training. It comes in with a lot of practice. It comes in with a lot of consistency, because it's not just the general manager or the department head standing there and delivering that. Yes, we spearhead it, but then it's the team down the line that meets the guest every single day. So the team is the main DNA of consistency. If you have a great motivated team and somebody who's available to deliver with a lot of passion, with the right amount of training, I think we nailed it. Like the Pullman brand caption is basically see the familiar differently. I've had guests who walked into this hotel and said, we felt an energy here. We felt a certain amount of positivity, and we can't explain what it is, but we felt good.
Excellent.
I think that is where we got it right. That tells us we're headed in the right direction.
You know, we are not just the beholders of the brand standards, we are actually the custodians and teachers of brand standards. We have to ensure that they are not only met and honored, but you have to actually drill it down and drive it down from the top to the last level in your hotel.
Absolutely.
Your experience starts from the moment the guest gets picked up, like I always say at the airport, till they get dropped back on their way back home. So those touch points are extremely essential.
Indeed.
All right. So let me walk across to you in Hyderabad, Sukhbir. You know, you've been in various, let's hear about what your last job was and how you've handled the part of the question that I'm going to ask you in this location. Airport hotels operate under intense time pressure, odd hours, long hours, and a lot of situations where things move. They're moving. Their flights get delayed, flights get cancelled. How do you ensure brand standards are never compromised in such high-speed environments?
Thank you. Wonderful question, Mr. Khanna. I think one advantage that we have is this hotel has been here for last 17 years, right close to the airport.
Yes.
So I think there is an innate understanding of how to handle so across the breadth of the people who work here. But I think when you ask me this question on a high velocity, of course, it's a very large hotel. We are a 290 room hotel close to the airport. Though the picture behind me would show that it is not a typical airport hotel. So we are a business leisure hotel. So look, maintaining brand standards in a high velocity business will require some deliberate things that we do. One is a deliberate balance of discipline, systems, guest first mindset. So the idea is that you build an operational culture where speed amplifies the brand integrity and not dilute it. So let me answer this in 3 points. One is we do not have an option of speed versus consistency. That we grew up with SOPs that are simple, visible, can be understood, and are teachable. Pre-shift briefs, we've learned them during our internships and through the career. And I think the third one is having clarity of the roles. I think it's very important that people know what they are doing so that there is a reduction in hesitation and errors. So everybody knows their job. So I think when a team is well trained, speed sort of becomes like a natural ally to consistency and not necessarily a something that you're competing against. I think the second thing for us is operational discipline. Now, again, no major rocket science here. We just ritualize the basics: checklist, hygiene protocols, equipment readiness, quality checks, typical things that we would do before the start of business at any point of time. We have all my counterparts have spoken about non-negotiable brand standards. I think we hold them very dear. But for us, it becomes even more important that we do not end up sacrificing them just because of the speed and the peak hours when we are handling a lot of rush. And I think we are able to achieve that very well because of one thing that we do well, which is leadership presence on the floor. It ensures coaching. It ensures being able to handle deviations real times before they become a habit. And having the discipline allows the operation, I think, to absorb the speed without losing the precision. And the third most important part is, like I said, guest first attitude. Be predictable. Your customer has already bought you as a brand. He or she knows what to expect. So be predictable. The idea of brand standards should be to enhance convenience and not slow it down. So that's one. And I think the part is if you are able to anticipate guest needs and provide the solutions for convenience rather than an inconvenience erupting, I think you managed to be able to do this. So I think the brand ultimately is experienced through the ease of business, the guest ease. So I think at here, me and my team, we believe that convenience, therefore, is a standard by itself and not just something that you want to have. So that in a nutshell is how we handle high velocity business here at our hotel.
And there are no shortcuts.
There are no shortcuts.
There are no jugards, right? You have the parallels are very narrow, so you have to. And listen, if the parallels are narrow, that is because the deviations have got to be kept to the barest minimum, and that also
That's right.
with approval, right? And the brand standards start with not just a service delivery, but how you dress up, how you greet people, how do you bring people into the lift, take them to the rooms, sign-offs and sign-ins, check-ins and check-outs, handling their luggage. So those touch points are extremely important. And we've got to sense how the guest is because they're tired. They may be coming from a long flight or they may be heading out to a long flight. So the dynamics change. Excellent. Sukhbir, you're in the right place to handle. So you're on top of your game. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let me walk across to you, Shantanu. I have some amazing memories of Pune. Pune is as beautiful, be it the weather, the people, the cosmopolitan nature of the city. Tell me, Pune has a strong mix of business and leisure travelers. Great place for food. How do you adapt and how do you adapt brand delivery to different guest segments without diluting consistency?
Thanks for the question. Pune has a strong mix of business with the leisure along with the business travelers, where managing significant diversity is very important for us. We ensure that our brand values core are remain constant. Things are like safety, comfort, and reliable services. These are the major parameters which are non-negotiable. That's how who we are. At the same time, we focus on service flexibility. A business guest usually very speed and efficiency they required in a quick in terms of their services, where in the leisure guest looks for more engagement and relaxed experience. Our teams are trained to recognize this and adapt the services style accordingly. However, I like to give you a present reality where known to all due to the war, this LPG shortage was there, wherein Pune is also get impacted. One of the and hotel industry is majorly impacted, and we are not on electrical. All the stoves are we are on gas dependable, where we have, but we don't have supplies. Though we have to control in our reduce in terms of our menu. In terms of team have to be flexible enough where we have to be personalized in terms to guest where we is to talk in one-to-one guest each and every day to make them understand why we had reduced few of the items and apart from that we had introduced some of the items and all in terms of breakfast especially. Apart from that, we in terms of personalization we interact day in day out. We have a long stay guest where the defense people also stay with us. We take the privilege wherein we had cut down in terms of lots of fried items and all because of the supply of the guests, where we have to make understand the guest parallelly adaptation in terms of brand standard along with the team also adopted the same and started explaining what is the current scenario where brand values along with the adaptation is going parallel, wherein the team plays the uh, major role in terms of their work, where the regular routine was different. Right now the routines are different. So far it's about maintaining a strong brand foundation while being flexible enough to deliver the right experience to each and every individual as a guest.
Thank you, Shantanu. Yeah, get your point. Bharti, You know, Trivandrum is the state capital of Kerala and a fairly busy location. And it represents a culturally rich and distinct market. The bureaucracy, the business, the works, even though the true financial and business capital is Kochi, how do you integrate local culture into guest experience while staying true to brand promise?
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. Well, at Trivandrum, if you're talking about it, of course, the city is known for its own heritage. Why? Because of we do have the temple which is like more than 1,000 years old. So a lot of travelers, if we are talking about it, especially the leisure travelers, they come up with a lot of expectation towards to Trivandrum, and of course they always look for an premium accommodations where we can provide a kind of a comfort and as well as a great local experience. So at Hilton Garden in Trivandrum, if I'm talking about it, we follow or we reflect the local culture by following the brand standard without fail. So that's one of the main point. And we do have a couple of things which we do have as in special practice. It means as in best practices. So the first one is called stay experience. In the stay experience, if I'm talking about it, we implemented the new thing called praycation. So of course everybody knows that there's in staycation and other stuff. So the praycation is a new trend, which actually talks about picking the guest from the airport and making sure we are well connected with them, and we are making sure they are having a pleasantful stay. Along with that, they are traveling around and visiting the places where they wish to. And that's one of the key point I could say, because I could see that nothing less than 10 to 15% of our guests who stays at a hotel, they always look for a pre-vacation packages. And then followed by very much in local connect. Why? Because of we are known for the leisure travelers, and we do have, let it be a Kovalam beach or Ponmudi hills or in Kerala backwaters, whatever we are talking about it, we always create a customized packages for our guests to make sure they are having that culture connect very much travels along with them. And then followed by the brand promise, if I'm talking about it, of course at our hotel, at our restaurants, if you're talking about it, we always have a kind of a menu which follows the brand standard. Along with that, we make sure our menu is very much distinguished, as well as it reflects the local flavors, especially if you're talking about it Kerala is known for sadhya. So after I have joined over here, we thought of why we can't implement a sadhya, which is like a proper banana leaf lunch, which serves the 24 to 27 different dishes. And we thought of it's a great idea to take it forward, and we have implemented it with a pre-order. The guests can order it, and they can enjoy the local flavors. Not only that, then followed by we have implemented various other new practices in food and beverage. Will it be a TDH menu or curated selections, where actually we reflect the local culture as well as the local food and local flavors to make sure the great experience is offered to the guests without fail at Hilton Garden Trivandrum.
Oh, very nice. I'm impressed, Bharti. I'm seriously impressed. Are you there?
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'm seriously impressed. Thank you so much. We've come to the intermission point of the show today. So with your permission, can I take a 20-second break and come back for the next question for Ankit?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
All right, lovely. We're just about 2-3 minutes off time, and we are back. We're doing well. Express yourself, Poonam. Your broadband, your and Bharti's broadband needs a bit of fixing. Just sound out the IT people. They'll try and help you. But don't stress. Don't stress at all. All right? So let's go through with this. Ankit, pehle to I'm just taken in by your location.
Well, we've spoken about it several times. It's high time for you to make a visit here.
I did actually reach till Shogi. I had to come back because there was a complete jam.
That's what the peak season is.
Yeah. So tell me, where do you draw the line between necessary localization and brand dilution? because there is this critical balance uh, of what not to do and what to do.
Right.
Just give us some gyan on this.
So, Mr. Khanna, what I believe is that a line is drawn where a guest gets to have an understanding that he's chosen a wrong hotel, or this is not what he expected out of a particular brand and that hotel. That's where, we have to draw a line. Now, what happens is that with these brand boundaries, what can never change is the service quality, the responsiveness, the personalization that the guest expects from us. Those things cannot change. The hygiene standards, all of this is non-negotiable, and these things cannot change. And the moment where a guest tends to feel that there are compromises, that's where we believe that a line has to be drawn. The local adaptation, what I spoke about in my previous conversation, is that the localization should actually add to the experience and not replace the overall uh, concept. Speaking about Himachali cuisine, the example that I took, the Himachali cuisine has to layer the brand positioning of the hotel and not confuse the guest or not compromise on the overall menu items. There are certain decision making that has been followed at the unit. We ask ourselves a few questions. Number one is, are these things related to our brand standards? Will the guest recognize these things as part of the brand standards, or will it enhance the experience? If the answer to any of these questions is a no, just take it for granted that we don't do it, and that's where we draw a line. Guest expectations. Now, when a guest comes to a particular brand, they also have a consistency of a brand in their minds, and at the same time, they also have the experience of local environment, local food, local culture, and we as a hotel try to give them both. And in case we are unable to do so, that's where we are lacking. So, all in all, I would want to summarize this by saying that localization should make the brand stronger and not confuse it. The moment the guest tends to feel that there has been a mistake by choosing a particular hotel in that region, I think we've gone too far. That's when we need to stop and relook into the training and other things. Thank you.
The localization is extremely important because you can't have one size that fits all. So yeah, extremely important. And and for us, we live over here, so we know how this place comes. Guests who come over here, they don't only just come to savor the services of your hotel, they want to soak in the local culture.
Correct.
So we have to be up to them. Thank you so much, Ankit.
My pleasure.
Poonam, back to you. So Poonam, how do you train teams in emerging destinations to deliver consistent brand experiences? Where you are is an emerging destination. It's a brand new destination. And Indians, as they are, I mean, forget about the domestic consumers, even foreigners, they're looking for the best bang for their buck and experience. So what's your say on this?
So, Mr. Khanna, talent, as you would know, surely doesn't come pre-trained. People walk
Yes,
in from different brands and different cultures.
absolutely.
So this is something which is always work in progress, and especially in remote location or hill station like ours, the attrition rate is always very high. So it's very important that brand standard is it's a culture in a place which has to be lived, and it is contagious. One has to walk into it and has to adapt to it. So how the entire thing, it's not about handing over the SOP to a new joinee. It's about introducing him to the culture of the place. It's for him
Or
to
her.
live, breathe, and understand. And as one of my colleagues also mentioned, leadership presence. So it's not just about the classroom trainings, it's about correction on the shop floor. It's about acknowledging, appreciating what has gone right, because we all today want validation. What has gone right, what has gone wrong, and when others are observing it, they feel valued, that X person has been acknowledged and this is the right thing to do. So that culture has to be set. And also when it comes to the travelers, especially in leisure destinations, so unlike the city hotels, they are not in a rush. There is no sense of urgency, there is no speed in service required, they are at ease. What they require is indulgence. What they require is someone to empathize with their needs. And every conversation with the guest has to be very, it's not transactional, that a service was asked and a service was given. It's not that. It has to it has to leave a lasting impression. So that's what I think, besides training them on certain standards, because yes, every hotel, every brand follows service standards, but being empathetic, being indulgent, is more important. The robotic kind of service is something that today's traveler is not looking for. He's looking for experience, he's looking for being understood. Also in a resort property, people often travel with their parents, so there are a lot of senior citizens, there are a lot of children. So what kind of activities that you are keeping, and how are you keeping them engaged in the resort? So a lot of these things play a very vital role. So I would say it's always work in progress, and a continuous process with the leadership on the shop floor, and it's not a one time orientation. It is something which has to be, that fabric or that culture has to be developed in the place.
So tell me, how long has your resort been?
It's been 1.5 years.
And you've been there all the while?
Yes, it's been about 15 odd months.
Excellent. Are you enjoying yourself?
Oh, yes. So, places like this come with its own set of challenges. As Ankit also cited, though he might have a lot of seasonality, here, there are procurement challenges and other things, not seasonality, not extreme seasonality as it would be, up north, but, such locations come with its own set of challenges. So, yeah, it is pretty, it is unusual, and it's a lot of precision and planning.
If there's no challenge, then it's not a hospitality job.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
But yeah.
Yeah. So you're in a good place. I'm happy you're enjoying yourself. Do well. Vinodh, tell me, you've been there, what, 2 years now?
Year plus now.
All right.
We've only been open for a year and 2 months, in fact.
All right. So tell me, what role does leadership play in ensuring consistency across departments? Your hotel was a conversion hotel, right?
So yeah, it was a hotel which existed before as a different standalone, or other two hotels within the owner's portfolio. But then they shut it down, completely stripped off everything, full-fledged renovation. I think we've kind of spent the kind of money what anybody would have spent to build a hotel itself, and then opened it back as a Pullman.
No, I hear about it. So let's hear from you.
Yeah, so I can answer this in one word, or I can answer this at length. When you say what does a leader do, he can either make it or break it. It all starts with the leader, be it your
absolutely
department leaders, or be it the general manager, be it the vertical leaders, or anybody else for that matter. I think everything flows top down. Be it the culture, be it the consistency, be it the anything that you talk about, accountability, everything flows top down. Most important thing is that if the leader who's taking care of that team is not convinced about what he is doing, and if he is not convinced about what is the standard expected, it is not expected to trickle down to the team down below. That's the first take. Secondly, similarly, we've all worked. I have a set of general managers here in the audience. We've all seen departments, we've all seen hotels, we've all seen different brands, right? Two departments work in absolute harmony to deliver what needs to be delivered to a guest only when two department leaders get along and think alike. That's extremely important. And an organization or a team that believes in the core values of that particular brand and the guest focus succeeds. Similarly, if a leader is accountable for what he is expected to deliver, he will automatically motivate and make sure that the team down the line is performing to ensure those goals are being met for mutual benefits, be it the customer or be it the organization, and for themselves as well. We've all grown up. Anybody who's sitting across this platform has all grown up from something that we started, and that has only happened because we've believed, we've kind of imbibed and built in that service culture in the hotels that we worked in. And somebody did it to us, and we give it back to the society, right? That's what we do. Now, if you're not accountable for what you're supposed to deliver, then you're not going to be passionate enough to deliver that as well. So that trickles down to the team. And I'm a very firm believer of, and this was taught me very early in my career, what gets checked gets done. What you demand is what you get. If you settle down for mediocrity, you get that. If you don't walk the building and if you don't know what is happening in your hotel for 1 week, nobody does it. And since we're talking about accountability and leadership, the true leadership of the team comes in only when the department head or when the GM is not in the hotel. Go for a 1 month leave, go for 15 days leave. If your hotel standard changes and if people don't follow the standards, and if your guests have a different experience, you come back to see a different guest voice score or maybe the guest satisfaction score, that is where the answer lies. So people work out of fear and not out of the direction being given to the team. So a leader is all about encouraging and making sure that he takes the team along to ensure that they deliver even in his absence. That's the success of a leader.
Oh, true. I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. And some leaders get insecure. No, don't get insecure. Hire people who can challenge you, who are better than you, right? Hire people from whom you can learn, right? I learn a lot from my younger colleagues, right? So we're always on a learning curve. The day we stop learning is the end.
I think all of us on this platform belong to a generation which is almost similar. Now the world is taken over by digital. I'm sure all of us are learning what is digital marketing and where are we investing in, what are we trying to do to get our hotels to get better performance. That itself is a learning. That's a classic example.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Thank you so much, Vinodh. That's valuable. Sukhbir, I'm back to you. Can you imagine? That was fast. So taking off from your last response, what operational practices help maintain consistency every single day? Though in hospitality, no 2 days are the same. And that is in a 24/7 industry, 365 days a year. This industry never sleeps.
Yeah, I think I remember the adage early in my career says there's never a dull day in a hotel.
Yeah.
And for me, because I do not typically fall into the format of an airport hotel or a wedding hotel or a long stay hotel, and I have a mix of everything, I think it becomes even more challenging. And what I just want to allude to what you just said earlier. I think a success of all the people here, I think it very strongly rests on the people that we get surrounded by. And I've always been very, very privileged and very blessed to be surrounded by great subject matter experts. Now, answering your question, I somehow kind of got a sense that you would come here, asking for the consistency. See, look, I think we would all agree that consistency can just not happen by chance. It's not something that happens one day. It is something which is very thoughtfully engineered systems, discipline, and continuous refinement of what we do. And we do it on a daily basis. And I think I would like to look at it as 4 pillars. One is the standard, the discipline towards your SOPs. I think if the SOP discipline is embedded in the culture, then consistency just becomes automatic. Make sure the SOPs are written in a language which is understood by a very large audience and does not leave any room for interpretation or an individual interpretation. Everybody should be able to understand the same thing.
Yeah.
The other things are, make sure that you have continuous, consistent communication around your standards. So it becomes second nature. SOPs should be by heart. And I think the last one in the SOP discipline would be a zero sort of a compromise mindset. Now, you cannot use high pressures as an excuse to say we didn't follow the standards and we'll do it another time. So that's why I think it's very important that the SOPs are embedded into the culture of the organization. Now, that brings us to the monitoring. Okay, you've done your job, you've made sure the SOPs are learned by heart. I think that then brings us to monitoring. You cannot manage what you cannot measure. So I think that is something that we need to do real time. And as far as monitoring is concerned, I think the real time operational checks are the best way to do it. Any deviations, nip it at the bud before it becomes a habit. Do the walkthroughs, like Vinodh said. A general manager needs to be on the floor to be able to see for himself what's happening. It's not to create fear, but to, I think, ask for accountability. So I think monitoring keeps the teams accountable and ensures that there is a consistency which is sustained. And you don't just assume that it must be happening. It is something that sustains itself. In order to do that, I think the third part would be the feedback. The feedback that needs to go to the team when you're on the floor as a leader or your leadership team is on the floor, making sure everything is the way it is supposed to be and not what somebody assumes it to be. Do structured feedback, operational challenges. I think we need to also understand in terms of feedback from a team, are there any things which are preventing them from being able to operate at the highest levels? And last but not the least, the guest for whom the one who is the very reason for us to be in the business, reviews, complaints, compliments. I think we need to be able to use them very well to be able to refine our processes as we go on. So I think I believe that a strong feedback system helps to ensure that the operation continues to improve daily. That is what you just mentioned. And last but not the least, you can have the best SOP, you can monitor, but if the execution fails, then everything fails. So I think execution is where probably the operational plans convert into that guest experience that you so wanted to deliver. So making it that defining factor in your daily operations and consistency that is across each shift. So I think it needs to be extremely clear role allocation. So no blurred lines. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Everybody needs to know what they're supposed to be doing. There needs to be a certain amount of sync across all departments, because at the end of the day, goal is to be able to make sure the client gets a great experience. And the leadership on the floor. So I think if these four are managed, you have discipline around your SOPs, you're able to monitor performance, you're able to generate feedback and use feedback for constant improvement and make sure that the execution is flawless. I think these four pillars should be able to bring about a stable rhythm where each team member knows what to do, how to do, and why does it matter. So I think that's the role. That's what we follow here.
That's very detailed, very, very detailed. But yeah, somewhere we need to ensure that the SOPs are simplified and they're not complicated. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sukhbir. Shantanu, I'm back to you. Tell me, how important is guest feedback in shaping consistency across markets?
Interesting. Guest feedbacks is very, very important for day-to-day life, where in real-time feedback is more important than the feedback what we receive through our medalia or in our source from wherever we get the feedbacks in online. We should get a feedback when then and there, and we should be competent enough by training our team where we can take real-time feedback from the guest, where we can do the real improvement. Wherein right now we had started this training in our department that we will be interacting of the guest from the guest check-in or before check-in. If we know the ETA of the guest, we started check-in, and we try to touch maximum tables or in FMB to touch base the feedbacks in real time. It helps us to continuously improvement, where the feedbacks it's not always it would be a positive. Feedbacks can be a negative also. But for me and for our team, negative feedbacks are always welcome. It showcases where we can improve ourselves. Where in continuous training on those lines is very, very, very important. And we are doing, as Sukhbir was correctly mentioning in regards to the SOPs. SOPs has to be very much simple, where the team understand what they have to deliver.
True.
And that plays the major role in our day-to-day life in regards to the feedback. We as a general manager, as a HOD, we always say our team, get a tip advisor feedback. How a person will bring, until unless he will not get trained or a simple SOP, he will be not knowing that this work I need to be done. So trainings plays the vital role. Parallelly, significantly, feedbacks are always welcome. It might be positive or a negative, where improvements, as you correctly mentioned a few minutes back, that every day it's a new learning for us. So this feedbacks gives us the opportunity for a learning where towards improvement.
True. True. I agree. Thank you, Shantanu. Bharti, uh, sitting where you are, if you look ahead, how will brands evolve to better reflect local realities without losing identity? You see, there are various identities. There brand identity, there is a cultural identity, there is the locational identity. Uh, you know, tell me.
Exactly. Well, I can talk about that topic for next 10, 15 minutes, sir, but I knew it very
No,
well.
no,
We
I
are
don't
just
have that.
ahead of the time. So let me make it as a quick and simple one. Well, I believe the future of branding lies in striking the right balance between the global consistency as well as the local relevance. So that's one of the main thing what we have to understand. Why? Because of the global consistency, always that gives the brand evaluation for us. Why? Because the brand evaluation uh, will be one of the key role for every hotel for its own operations. So most of the hotels have a diverse mix of segments, from transient to the corporate to the leisures, if you're talking about it. And of course, property by property, it gets varied. Today's guest, if you're talking about it, they always look at both, which is like comfort and as well as a meaningful stays, especially towards the cities like Trivandrum. I'm talking about it. Of course, when we are talking about the metropolitan cities like Chennai or Mumbai, it's a different thing. But when we are talking about the urban cities, or like the one who always have that kind of a local connect with them, so they look for this kind of a meaningful stays. So of course, I think like the exceeding their expectation by giving them the local touch, always it's going to be important for every brand, and they have to look into their brand evaluation. And celebrating the local identities and another parameter I can just mention it about, which is about authenticity will shape up the pace of next pace of hospitality in the urban cities like Trivandrum. Why? Because of the curated local experience, regional cuisines, or anything if you're talking about it, that could give a better kind of an meaningful stays towards the guest, and that gives a deeper guest connections, and that improves that kind of one quality. Even if you're talking about a transient traveler or a business traveler, when he travels for a business trip from morning 9 until evening 6, then after 6 o'clock he's free and he would like to explore something new or better. So which gives us a better clarity towards this kind of an experiential stays. So in short, the most successful blends in my point of view will be, it should be like something like globally trusted, but at the same time yet it's locally vibrant. I think that will give a give a better clarity on that point.
You know, yeah, your response wonderfully sums up the show. Incidentally, you were the
Thank you.
last responder. But yeah, this is where brand standards really come into play. And it is expected of such strong international brands that they will bring their very best offerings to the table. And like I did mention in the first half, we are the custodians and the holders of brand standards, right? Do not dilute them, but tailor them to locals. Are you there? Yeah. All right.
Very
Tell
much
me,
so.
tell me, how did you fix your broadband? It's become so damn clear. All right.
We are
So,
just trying with the Wi-Fi connection, so it's that is a backup is there now.
all right. Okay. So, with your permission, I've had a wonderful show, but before I get down to closing the show, I want to have a rapid sign-off round with you. And the question is going to be the same for all of you. I'll call out your names, but you have to respond within just 2 or 3 words. Are we good to go?
Yes, Mr. Khanna.
Yes.
So tell me, from the topic of our session and our discussions, consistency across India works best when, Ankit.
When standards adapt.
All right. Poonam.
When teams align.
All right. Vinodh.
When leaders are passionate and they drive.
All right. Sukhbir.
Uncompromised processes.
Very good. Shantanu.
When guests guide us,
How do the guests guide you, men?
by feedback, giving feedbacks, giving
All right.
giving feedbacks, giving a real time understanding towards improvement.
Be locked in with the guest.
Yeah,
Like a body talks to us, every guest, even when they're quiet, they talk to us. Pick
correct.
up the signals. Be at a safe distance with them. Just pick up the signals. Their body language will tell you.
Correct.
Last but not the least, Bharti.
Yes, Mr. Khanna, actually, when consistency across India, it works best when it culture connects.
All right, lovely. I've had a wonderful show. I'm going to sum it up. Ankit, you brought out the realities of operating in seasonal hill destinations. I'm fairly enchanted because I haven't been to Shimla, or I've not even been to Jammu Kashmir. So that's my next spot. Poonam, I'm coming to your place soon.
Most welcome.
Yeah, so you've highlighted the challenges and opportunities in emerging markets. Since you've almost opened up the resort and location. Vinodh, you've done the brand conversion and the hotel conversion over there. You spoke about consistency in mature and competitive environments like Chennai, and within Chennai in Anna Salai. Sukhbir, you've emphasized discipline and high-speed airport operations, and you've summed it up extremely well. The complexities of SOPs on how to simplify them. Shantanu, you've shared insights on how balancing diverse guest segments and you have to hear them out. Last but not the least, Bharti, you've beautifully captured the importance of integrating local culture into brand experience. Thank you so much. If I was to conclude this session, I've had a wonderful time. This is my second show of the day. I'm not tired. I'm actually enthralled. Sitting away and hearing 6 general managers, different brands, different locations, and a different set of challenges is a fantastic opportunity for any host and moderator. And so has it been for me. I must thank all of you for a truly insightful discussion. Before I go away, I'd also like to thank Diversey once again. You've put your money where your mouth is, and you've enabled us 4 seasons to carry the message of this industry further down the levels. It has a cascading effect, and I'm sure it augurs well for the industry. And I also want to thank Team BW Businessworld and BW Hotelier for bringing the platform to life. It is not easy to produce such shows. It takes a lot of effort, scheduling, the live relay of the session, the social media handling, the stories, more than anything else, pulling general managers out of their business schedule. I'm delighted also to share, so these conversations reach the larger hospitality community. Tomorrow, we're going to have 2 wonderful shows, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And then our first show will be a 90-minute show, 5:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time and Sri Lanka local time. our first show in Sri Lanka. You'll see some of the finest general managers, in fact, 7 of them, who will be talking Sri Lanka. It's a great opportunity to watch them, hear them, and what Sri Lanka has to offer us. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode tomorrow, 5 p.m. But before that, the Diversey video.
At Diversey, we believe it is our mission to protect and care for people and their environment every day. Pioneering future-focused cleaning and hygiene solutions. Trust the experts to select the best hygiene technology matching your site's challenges and your sustainability vision. Diversey, your global partner for responsible hygiene solutions.
Thank you all. Thank you for being there. Thank you. Let me begin with the lady of the show. Thank you, Poonam. God bless you. You're a great brand ambassador for women in hospitality, for your brand, location, hotel, and the industry. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Khanna. It was a pleasure to be a part.
The pleasure was ours. I truly enjoyed my time with you and all the other general managers. Ankit, thank you for being there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Looking forward
Such
for
a pleasure
more
being
shows.
with you on the show. Bharathi and Santanu, thank you for being there. You're first timers. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for
Thanks
being
a
on
lot
the show.
for this wonderful opportunity.
Yeah. Sukhbir, thank you again, my friend. God bless you.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Mr. Khanna.
Pleasure is mine.
My only complaint is you want to go to Poonam's hotel. You want to go to Ankit's hotel. I don't think you've seen my hotel.
No.
And I'm neither far away from the airport. I have a resort kind of a feel.
I have a reason. And don't you laugh at that. My wife was born there.
And that is the reason why you don't want to come.
I never said I don't want to come. If she sees, I'll be in trouble.
You're putting on the spot.
I will come there. Vinodh, thank you so much for
Thank you,
being
sir.
there. I want to be with all of you and I will come. All right.
You just mentioned saying that you were in Chennai a couple of days back, but you did not come to see us. We will make sure that we find you.
I was actually in Mahabalipuram and I was flying back, but I'll come and see you. Bharathi, thank you, my friend. God bless you.
Pleasure, sir.
New job.
Thank you so
new
much.
Location. You have the world staring at you and a lot of opportunities. God bless you all again. Shantanu, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Keep shining.
Thank you.
And see you soon again. Keep connected. God bless you.